Welcome, students, to this explainer. Okay, let's dive into this, because today we're taking a pretty fascinating journey into the absolute unknown. Just imagine for a second stepping off a plane or a bus, and suddenly everything around you is just completely different. The sights, the sounds, even the air itself, it's all totally foreign. We're going to explore what it actually feels like to step way out of your comfort zone and into a brand new world.
So, let me ask you, have you ever been a stranger in a strange town? I want you to really try and put yourself in those shoes right now, right before you head into your lesson. Think about arriving somewhere completely new. The streets don't look like your streets back home, the people are speaking a completely different language, or maybe they're just moving at a totally different pace. It can be super thrilling, right? But let's be honest, it can also be incredibly daunting. It's a deeply universal human experience.
To get a real sense of this, we're looking at 3 distinct stories of first impressions from around the globe. Today, we're navigating a triptych of distinct first impressions from Raphael, Julia, and Kamal. Each of them packed up their bags, left everything familiar behind, and landed somewhere entirely foreign. And as you'll see, that first impression of a new town, it's rarely just about the buildings or the architecture. It is entirely about how the place makes you feel.
Section 1. Raphael's story. Freezing in Chicago.
Picture this. It's about 10 years ago, and Raphael has traveled all the way from Mexico to Chicago for a work project. It's his very first time stepping into a bustling American metropolis. The second he steps off the bus from the airport, bam, total sensory overload. I mean, everything was strange to him. The smells were different, there were these massive crowds moving at lightning speed, the language was totally unfamiliar, and everyone seemed to be in this stressful, frantic hurry. When absolutely everything feels strange all at once like that, it just completely overwhelms your senses. But amidst all of that overwhelming, fast-paced chaos, there was one immediate, glaring physical problem. He had this sudden, desperate realization. In Mexico, we don't have winters like that. He didn't just feel culturally out of place, you guys. He was absolutely freezing. The weather was aggressively cold, he needed warm clothes, and he needed them fast. It's just such a funny, real, deeply humanizing detail. All those profound cultural differences suddenly completely took a backseat to the basic human need of just finding a heavy winter coat.
Section 2. Julia's story. Finding comfort in Bristol.
Let's shift gears over to Julia. She was a 20-year-old exchange student from Cologne, Germany, heading over to the UK, and honestly, she was incredibly anxious. And this brilliantly illustrates how quickly our feelings can change. Let's walk through her emotional timeline on that beautiful September day in Bristol. Step 1. A very scary first day at university. Her anxiety was totally peaking. But then, step 2 happens. She looks around the campus and actually sees so many other people in her exact same situation. Other young students, looking just as lost and nervous as she was. Which quickly brings us to step 3, feeling suddenly positive.
She had this profound thought looking at everyone. They must feel the same. This is such a crucial moment of empathy. By recognizing her own fear reflected right there in the faces of her peers, her feeling of isolation simply dissolved. It's a wonderful lesson for us to take away. When you're the stranger in town, looking for that shared humanity can completely transform your perspective. You go from being absolutely terrified to feeling so optimistic and relieved.
Section 3. Kamal's story. A fresh start in Melbourne.
Now, Kamal's journey was a major life leap. Born in Nepal, he traveled to Melbourne, Australia as an immigrant worker. On his very first day, he faced a massive, daunting hurdle. He didn't understand any English, literally nothing. The spoken world around him was just a complete mystery. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the contrast, because on the flip side, the people were incredibly friendly. He bravely smiled at strangers, and they smiled right back. It perfectly shows us that even when verbal communication is entirely cut off, the beautiful universal language of a simple shared smile can instantly make you feel safe.
And that quiet sense of welcome gave Kamal a profound feeling of liberation. He described it perfectly, saying everything was clean and new, like a fresh start. As he walked along the river on that very first day, he didn't feel bogged down at all by the things he didn't know or the words he couldn't speak. He just felt free. The newness of this strange town wasn't scary for Kamal. It was a blank canvas. It was the beautiful, peaceful beginning of a brand new chapter.
Section 4. Sharing the experience. What will your first impression be?
So, the crucial point is this. Arriving in a strange town is never just one single predictable type of experience.
As you get ready for your classroom discussion today, really look at how these three distinct journeys all started with a step into the absolute unknown, yet they resulted in completely different initial reactions. You've got Raphael experiencing intense sensory overload and a very real cold shock in Chicago. You've got Julia going from isolated anxiety to shared positivity on campus in Bristol. And Kamal, despite a total language barrier, overcoming it with a simple smile to find true freedom in Melbourne. Keep these core feelings in mind. They are your main takeaways for class.
Which leaves us with one final, very important thought before you head into your lesson. What would your first impression be if you were dropped into a totally strange town tomorrow? Would you be frantically hunting for a winter coat, searching for a friendly, relatable face in the crowd, or just finding a quiet place to walk and feel totally free? Think about it. You can actually share your own stories by sending your first impressions to the email you see right here, firstday@ourplanet.com. Have a fantastic lesson, students, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.